I want you to imagine, just for a second, that you're trying to learn a completely new skill, like playing a musical instrument. Let's say the cello.
Oh, wow. Okay. The cello. That's a tough one.
Right. It's notoriously hard. But instead of sitting down with these thick books of music theory or, memorizing complex
Or
scales,
studying the exact mathematics of how a string vibrates.
exactly. Instead of all that, you just listen, you close your eyes, you listen to a song, and you just try to mimic the exact sound you just heard purely with your own hands.
So you're basically bypassing the whole analytical breakdown of notes on a page. You're going straight for the physical resonance of the thing.
Yeah, precisely.
You're feeling the weight of the instrument, matching the pitch and the emotion completely by ear, relying on your biological hardware instead of your intellectual software.
It's completely instinctual. And we'll bump to this deep dive because today we're taking that exact concept, this idea of learning by pure, unadulterated mimicry, and we're applying it to how you learn a language.
It's such a fascinating approach.
It really is. We're looking at a deeply fascinating piece of source material today. It's a transcript from a show called English Decoded, specifically from their Slow English series.
Right, and we're focusing on day 3 of their 30-day speaking challenge.
Yeah.
And the material itself is it's remarkably focused. It consists of exactly 99 simple sentences. They're presented by 2 speakers, and the whole thing is designed around a very specific immersive learning technique.
Yeah, and our mission today is to look at this list of 99 sentences because, on the surface, it just looks like standard, maybe even slightly tedious language drilling.
Sure, like textbook stuff.
Right. But when you actually read through the sentences in the exact order they're presented, you realize it's doing something much, much more profound. It's this beautifully distilled, almost poetic blueprint of modern human daily life. So, okay, let's unpack this.
I love that framing. To really grasp the architecture of those 99 sentences, we kind of have to start with the methodology.
The how before the what.
Exactly. Because before you even hear the first sentence, the source material gives very explicit instructions on how to interact with the audio. They call the method shadowing.
Right, shadowing.
The instructions tell you to listen to a sentence and then repeat it right after. You're actively copying the rhythm, the intonation, the sound. But they add this really crucial disclaimer, which I find amazing.
What's the disclaimer?
They say, you don't need to understand every grammar rule. Just relax, listen, and repeat.
I love that they have to explicitly tell you to relax because, when you try to learn a language as an adult, your biggest enemy is almost always your own analytical brain.
Oh, absolutely. We overthink everything.
We desperately want to know the why. Like, why is that verb conjugated that way? Or why does that preposition go there instead of over here? We try to do, complex math with syntax.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is the underlying cognitive strategy. By giving you permission to just ignore the grammar rules entirely, the method is actively trying to bypass your prefrontal cortex.
Right, the brain's rule enforcer. The part of our head that, paralyzes us when we're trying to speak because we're just so terrified of using the wrong tense.
Precisely. The prefrontal cortex is great if you're trying to pass a written exam, right?
Yeah.
But it is notoriously slow when you're in the middle of a live conversation.
Too much lag time.
Yeah, if you're constantly consulting this mental spreadsheet of grammar rules before you even open your mouth, your speech is going to be halting and unnatural. So shadowing forces you out of that prefrontal cortex. It pushes the language into the motor cortex and the basal ganglia.
Which are the parts that handle habit formation, right, and muscle memory.
Spot on. You're building the engine by driving the car.
It goes right back to that cello analogy from the start. You're learning the song of the language by ear, because human speech is fundamentally about cadence.
It's deeply musical.
Yeah, every language has a unique melody, a really specific rhythm to how the syllables just sort of fall together.
And the source even advises you to listen to the audio 2 or 3 times a week, right?
Yeah.
And to practice daily. They explicitly note that your improvement is going to happen much faster than you anticipate if you do that.
It's like a workout routine.
It really is. They're telling you to treat this like physical training. You're building muscle memory in your articulatory system, your tongue, your lips, your vocal cords, and you're tuning your auditory processing.
So you aren't just storing rules in a filing cabinet somewhere in your head.
No, not at all. You're training your physical body to perform a physical act.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit. from the mechanics of how you learn this to the what, because the actual chronological journey these 99 sentences take you on is just, it's wild. It starts at the absolute break of dawn.
It really does. The very first sentence is, I wake up at 6 every morning.
Right.
And from there, the listener is guided through this rapid-fire sequence of really highly specific physical morning actions.
Yeah. We get sentences about brushing teeth, washing faces. There's this very specific detail about always drinking a glass of water before breakfast.
Which is very relatable.
Yeah. And then the focus shifts outward slightly. Like, there's a mother making tea for the whole family, eating toast and eggs, checking the phone for messages, and finally stepping outside and noticing that the morning air feels fresh and cool.
And the momentum just continues right out the front door, straight into the morning commute.
Yeah.
You're walking to the bus stop, noticing the bus is crowded, taking a rickshaw when you're in a hurry.
Feeling the heavy city traffic, yeah.
Listening to music and, feeling a little sleepy on the way.
Okay, wait, hold on. I need to interrupt this for a second. Because looking at this list, if I'm, say, a busy adult, right, and I'm learning English for a major career move or an international business trip.
Right, high stakes.
Yeah. So what does this all mean? Why on earth am I wasting my time learning how to say I wash my face? Shouldn't I be learning how to hail a cab or negotiate a contract or ask where the embassy is, like, right out of the gate? Why start a 30-day challenge with such extreme domestic mundanity?
It's a fair question, and it seems totally counterintuitive. But it's actually a highly strategic choice, that mundanity is the absolute bedrock of language acquisition.
Okay, how so?
Starting the language journey with the literal start of the human day builds a profound psychological anchor for you.
Wait, how does saying I brush my teeth anchor me any more than saying I need a taxi?
Because it mirrors your actual unavoidable chronological experience of reality.
Oh, I see.
When you tie new, unfamiliar vocabulary to universal, deeply ingrained physical habits, actions that you perform every single morning without even thinking, you're no longer memorizing abstract concepts on a flashcard. You are rooting the new language in your physical reality.
So you wake up in your actual life and you wake up in the new language simultaneously.
Exactly. The concept in cognitive science is called embodied cognition. Language isn't just floating around in your head, it's deeply connected to your physical states.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure I entirely buy that. Isn't shadowing just glorified parroting? How does saying the morning air feels cool actually make my brain connect to the physical sensation of cold?
Well, think about the sensory details the authors deliberately included. They didn't just write, I go outside. They wrote, the morning air feels fresh and cool.
Right.
And later on the bus, the sentence is, I feel a little sleepy on the way.
Yeah.
These aren't just mechanical actions, they're physical sensory states.
Okay, yeah.
When you repeat that phrase about the cool air while you're actually stepping out of your own front door in the morning, your brain fires the exact same neurons for the physical sensation of cold right alongside that new English vocabulary. You're layering the English directly over your lived sensory experience.
Oh, wow. So you're almost acting. You embody the language through the physical actions you take every single day anyway.
Exactly. It accelerates fluency because your brain doesn't have to imagine some hypothetical, abstract scenario to use the words. The scenario happens to you every day at 6:00 a.m.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we've woken up, we've brushed our teeth, we've survived the crowded bus and the heavy city traffic, and we've arrived at our destination.
The workday begins.
Right. This brings us into the middle of the day. The domestic sphere just completely vanishes, and you are thrust out into the public societal sphere. It's all about sustenance, commerce, and navigation now.
Yeah, the sentences pull you right into the office or the classroom. You're checking email, taking notes during a meeting, anticipating a short break at 11 o'clock.
There's a real sense of modern urgency injected into the text here, too. Like, you have sentences about finishing work before a deadline, but they pair that stress with a psychological reward. The sentence is, I feel proud when I complete a difficult task.
It's very affirming. And then from the office, the text moves you out into the city.
Yeah.
Lunch around 1 o'clock and then into the marketplace for some shopping.
And here's where it gets really interesting to me. Reading through this massive middle section of the sentences, I couldn't help but compare it to the mechanics of an open world video game.
Oh, really? Walk me through how you see the connection there.
Okay, so if you're a player and you get dropped into a brand new map, what are the core survival mechanics? First, you need to restore your health bar.
Right. basic survival.
Exactly. So the text has you going to lunch, eating a favorite dish of rice with fish curry, asking someone to pass the salt. It even explicitly mentions avoiding sugar for health reasons,
That's hilarious.
and then gathering intel from an NPC, a friend recommending a nearby noodle shop.
Mhm.
That is classic health restoration and gathering local knowledge.
The parallels are definitely there for sure.
And then you visit the merchant to upgrade your gear. The sentences literally have you asking for smaller sizes, managing your inventory by saying, I'm just looking around for now,
Which is such a useful phrase.
the most useful, and asking to pay by card instead of cash, haggling for discounts, interacting with a friendly shopkeeper, and finally, you have to unlock the map.
Navigation.
Yes, you need directions to the train station, you learn to turn left at the corner, you keep a map on your phone. There's even a specific sentence about getting lost or missing a train due to traffic. It is a literal urban survival guide.
The video game analogy works beautifully because it highlights the purely functional nature of this section. But what the authors of this challenge do masterfully is this really careful blending of cognitive modes.
What do you mean by that?
They seamlessly weave transactional language with relational and observational language.
Okay, so assuming we understand the basic difference, like transactional is me buying the shirt and relational is me making a friend, how does blending them actually change what my brain is doing?
It changes everything about how you perceive your role in this new culture. Transactional language activates the problem-solving centers of your brain. Like, how much does this shirt cost? Can I pay by card? Excuse me, how do I get to the train station? You're using the language as a blunt tool to extract a specific result from your environment. You are just a consumer of the space.
Just get in, get the item, get out.
Exactly. But the source material doesn't let you stay in that purely consumer mindset. It forces you to sprinkle in observations and human connection. So you get sentences like, this restaurant serves really delicious food. The shopkeeper was very friendly and helpful. I enjoy exploring new places on the weekend.
So it forces you to look up from the transaction and actually see the human being who's handing you the receipt.
Precisely.
Mm.
It teaches you that true fluency isn't just surviving a transaction, right? It's active participation in the culture. The cognitive shift from, I need this to I appreciate this, requires a totally different level of emotional engagement with the language.
That's so true.
It elevates you from a mere tourist who's just trying to survive the city into a participant within the society.
And they inject this phenomenal cultural flavor while doing it, too. Like, we had the mention of taking a rickshaw during the commute earlier, and now there's the specific detail of, my favorite dish is rice with fish curry.
Yeah, it's very vivid.
They could have easily used generic, sterile textbook examples, right? Like, I eat a sandwich or I drive a car. But by choosing a rickshaw and fish curry, they ground the language in this vibrant, specific kind of bustling city life.
It gives the language a physical texture. You can practically smell the curry, you can hear the rickshaw engine sputtering. It engages the senses, which, as we established with the morning routine, deepens those neural pathways.
Totally. So once you have successfully navigated all the complexities of commerce, fed yourself, and figured out the train schedule, the day inevitably begins to wind down. Which brings us to the final act of our 99-sentence play, the inner life and the emotional core.
Yeah, having mastered physical survival in the public sphere, the shadowing exercise just completely shifts away from practical utility, and it leans heavily into human connection and internal emotions.
We get sentences about making plans with friends, meeting at a coffee shop around 5, navigating existing plans on a Saturday, and expressing that very poignant sentiment, it has been a long time since we last met.
And immediately following that, the text transitions into weather and small talk. You're shadowing phrases about unpredictable weather, cool evening breezes, the humidity making it hard to breathe, and feeling energetic on sunny days.
Okay, I have a question about the architecture here. Why is the weather always the gateway?
What do you mean?
Like, in almost every language curriculum I've ever seen, weather is grouped with small talk. Why is observing the sky the universal prerequisite for having a deeper conversation?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the weather is the ultimate shared reality. No matter what your socioeconomic background is, no matter what language you are struggling to speak, if it is raining on you, it is raining on the person standing right next to you.
That's a good point.
It creates this sort of low-stakes synchronization of realities.
A safe buffer zone.
Exactly that. In the arc of this specific source material, you are transitioning from the highly transactional guard-up language of the afternoon, asking about shirt sizes and train platforms, to the highly vulnerable emotional language of the evening.
Right.
You can't just jump straight from asking, do you have this in a smaller size, to confessing, I am worried about my exam. The human brain needs a transitional space to establish trust.
So the weather acts as a bridge.
Yes.
Huh.
The weather serves as that liminal space where two people can connect over an undeniable shared experience before they dive into the subjective and the personal.
And the final block of sentences is where we really dive into the deep end of the personal. It's focused entirely on the evening, on feelings and opinions. The mask of the busy professional comes completely off.
The shadowing shifts to the profoundly internal.
Yeah.
You're suddenly practicing the expression of subjective opinion. Like, honestly, I think that movie was quite boring. You're practicing vulnerability and anxiety with, I am a bit worried about tomorrow's exam.
And we see the psychological wind-down routine, too, reading a book before sleep, and the stark admission that sometimes I just need a quiet evening alone. I feel like teaching a beginner to say they need to be alone is such a deeply human, modern sentiment to include in a fundamental language lesson.
It really highlights the beautiful, overarching structure of what the authors have achieved with these 99 sentences. Just think about the stark contrast between the beginning and the end. Sentence 1 was, I wake up at 6 every morning. Purely physical, purely mechanical.
And sentence 96, right at the very end of the list, is I feel grateful for everything I have today. Pure emotion, pure reflection.
To truly master a language, you have to learn the cultural syntax of vulnerability. How does this specific culture express fear? How do they articulate gratitude? What you're looking at is literally a linguistic map of human needs.
Like Maslow's hierarchy.
Exactly. We start the day with the physiological waking up, finding water, eating breakfast. We move into safety and security, navigating heavy traffic, paying for goods, keeping a job to meet deadlines.
Yeah.
Then we transition into love and belonging, meeting friends at a coffee shop, connecting with the shopkeeper. And we end the day with self-actualization and reflection, feeling gratitude, confronting anxiety, and setting intentions for the future.
Sentence 98 is literally, I hope tomorrow will be a better day. You're teaching someone the mechanics of English, but you are simultaneously handing them a philosophy for navigating modern existence.
And you're asking them to embody it. By relaxing your prefrontal cortex, listening to the rhythm, and repeating these specific phrases out loud, you are quite literally speaking a full, complex human life into existence in a brand new tongue. You are adopting the cadence of a new reality.
It is incredibly powerful when you view it from that altitude. So let's wrap up this journey we've been on today. We started with a piece of source material that, to the untrained eye, look of a basic, maybe even slightly tedious language drill.
Day 3 of a 30-day challenge.
Right. 99 simple sentences designed to be repeated out loud.
But as we've uncovered, it's actually a comprehensive map of a human day. It takes you by the hand, guiding you from the physical mechanics of splashing cold water on your face at dawn, through the chaotic, transactional survival of the midday city, across the shared bridge of weather and small talk.
And finally into the quiet, complex, emotional reality of laying your head down to sleep.
The advice from the source is incredibly simple, but it's profound for any kind of learning you're undertaking. Practice a little every day, and improvement comes faster than expected.
Don't stress the grammar. Don't overthink the rules. Just feel the rhythm of the day.
It is entirely about participation over perfection.
So we're going to leave you with a thought to mull over today, something to explore long after this audio ends. We've just walked through someone else's 99 sentences, someone who eats rice with fish curry, takes crowded rickshaws, and worries about their exams. If you had to distill your own entire daily existence into just 99 simple sentences for someone else to repeat, what specific hyperlocal details would you include? What is your personal version of the crowded bus or the cool morning breeze? And ultimately, if a complete stranger learned to speak by shadowing your 99 sentences, what would those sentences reveal about who you really are? Think about how you'd play the song of your own life by ear. Until next time.